Hello and welcome back to the X-Ring. On today's episode, what we're going to do is talk about open three-gun division. I had the opportunity to do it for the first time ever on Saturday using the Typhoon and some of the upgrades we did to this to get it running, so stick around. All right, before we get started, let's talk about eye protection. You guys might know that I run Gaiters eyewear. If you guys don't know anything about these, they are made in the USA, made out of California since the late 80s, mid 80s. They are billet aluminum and they offer some unbelievable impact protection on some of the models they have. If you guys are interested, just put X-Ring in the coupon code and it'll get you 15% off the purchase, and every purchase does help out the channel. So before we get started in how the event went this weekend, I do want to talk about this Typhoon F12. You guys know we reviewed this about 2 weeks ago and I had some issues with it cycling. It didn't get any better. So what I ended up doing was thinking to myself, hey, you know, the gas ports are probably too small. Maybe it was just because of excessive tool wear when they were drilling those gas ports. But under the piston, and yes, I do realize they have a heavy load and a light load for the piston setting. I tried it on the light load multiple times and it just would not feed reliably. So what I ended up doing was oversizing the gas ports by 10 thousandths. I was going to go 5 thousandths initially, but it was just so sluggish I figured 10 thousandths would be fine. Did that on 3 of the gas ports and it ran like a champ. Over 100 shotgun rounds through the match. For me anyway, like I said, you can go heavier or lighter on some of these if you want to use pistol instead of shotgun, but I only had one malfunction, and that one malfunction was a round that got hung up about right here. All I had to do was push forwards on the charging handle. That put the round into battery and I was able to continue. I also picked up this muzzle brake. This is the Typhoon F12 muzzle brake. It was about $119, but I was told that it was a must-have. And guys, it makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Huge difference. One of the other things that you'll get with it is an extended choke tool, because if you add that brake onto there, you're not going to have the ability to change out your chokes. This is already cleared. It did have a chamber safety flag in here just a moment ago, but basically it gives you a way to access your chokes. Now, in perfect Turkish way for this shotgun, remember it's a budget shotgun, the problem is they made these too large and that does not fit in here to index it. So that happened to me at the match because I didn't think about it or think to check it, because I assumed, you know what happens when we assume, I assumed that would work. So I am going to have to modify this and cut those teeth down just a little bit because I can't change chokes out without taking the brake off. I did run the entire match using a modified choke and it worked out perfectly. Other than that, this thing runs beautifully. You know, when you get into premium weapons and you go into something like this that's in that $700 price point, you do notice that the materials are subpar. I also went in and just used a polishing wheel and polished the bottom of the bolt, the top of the hammer, and like I said, this thing hammers now. It's great. I absolutely love open division. Now, you guys might say, well, why the change to open division? It really got me thinking. Someone brought this question to me. They said, well, how practical is a 3-gun shotgun? Do you have one in your house for home defense? And no, I don't, because it's about this tall, and imagine trying to clear a corner or a hallway. It's no longer a defensive shotgun. This could be a defensive shotgun. If it's 100% reliable, you know, I've got 10 rounders, 5 rounders. So that's a 5-round mag. You've got 5 rounds of buckshot or slugs, whatever you want. We've got 10 rounders. Now you're gonna have 11 rounds on tap. It's something you could easily use as a defensive or a home defense shotgun. Shoot, put slugs in it and it's good out to distance. And then you even have the 20 rounders, which if you're trying to get really crazy, we could do that. Yes, it's loaded, but it's okay, I'm not chambering around. So I did pick up a 3-pack of the 10 rounders and it was pretty simple to carry. That was one of the things I was concerned with. And I'm gonna go through all the gear that I use so that you guys can kind of see, but the point was, I'm getting good with this shotgun that has no practical application other than 3-gun. Why not use something that's an auto-loading shotgun that's magazine fed? And I'll tell you, it is the fastest division. It was a huge field of people yesterday. And fortunately, I was able to pull off second place. I don't know how, because it was a strong field of shooters. I mean, guys that all the major matches do finish in the top 10 or even the top 5, and so I was able to place just behind one of those guys, so I was very, very satisfied with the results. So I used the Typhoon F12. I was using Estate ammunition, which was 1290. This actually worked perfectly for me. It was 1290 feet per second. It's a number 8, 1 ounce. I would have preferred 1 1/8 ounce, but couldn't find any, but this worked well. No complaints about that. Had no issues with the shotgun. As far as slugs, they had optional slug. I typically use the Federal, the law enforcement low recoil slug. I already had a 0 on it. And realize if you do get a shotgun like this, your 0 for your bird shot is going to be different than your slugs usually. I've talked to a lot of guys that told me that. They said, look, don't assume and don't 0 for your slugs, because in your bird shot, you're gonna have to aim high or low. You don't use that many slugs, so you just need to know where to hold your offset. So I really love that aspect of the shotgun. It was great. I have no complaints. It was a little awkward getting used to a 20-round magazine when you got done with a stage and then possibly dumping this. It might be easier just to drop the mag and then put it in the dump barrel. But man, it was a great time. Really enjoyed that. As far as the shotgun and how I held magazines, I usually started with a 20. You guys know that I run all G-code equipment. And so now that I don't have to have shot shell holders, I can run a little lightweight battle belt. I had 3 pistol mags up here. I can use AR mags, or I could even use the shotgun mags, and those fit in the G-code holders just like this, and they didn't get in my way. And so I had 10 rounds on tap. We did have a jungle run. Really needed to do a magazine change on 2 of the stages for me anyway, and I had 10 rounds available. So no complaints about the shotgun. Don't think I'm going to do any more work to it. For you guys that might talk about the VR80s, I saw so many VR80s go down yesterday, it wasn't even funny, okay? There was at least 4 guys on my squad that had VR80s, and not a single one of them ran cleanly. As a matter of fact, one turned into a single shot towards the end of the match. Another one turned into a single shot or had malfunctions where they had to actually strip the magazine. So I'm glad I didn't go that route. I'm not bad-mouthing it because I don't own it, but I'm just telling you what I observed yesterday in the match. They did not run. So maybe you have to do some modifications of those as well. As far as the pistol, I did run the Atlas Artemis. And so I am extremely thrilled with this pistol, guys. Being able to shoot a red dot on a 2011 makes it unbelievably quick. They had a lot of really kooky stages where you were doing a lot of offhand shooting, and that's where I really started to see the separation between the guys that do a lot of pistol work and not, because some guys could not hit it just using support hand on these smaller targets. The SRO did great, had no complaints with sight picture or brightness. I did have to modify the holster. I love the RTS wheels because I can leave a pistol holstered and take it off of my side without ever having to remove the pistol from a holster. And so what I ended up having to do, and it looks very shoddy, guys, I had to end up cutting out the top of this and then radiusing this Kydex so it would clear. But I'm always, for me anyway, going to run a full retention holster. I don't want to lose this pistol. Not because of the cost of it, but I don't want to go home or get DQ'd because a pistol come out of the holster because I didn't have a retaining strap on. All right, for the rifle, you guys know I'm sponsored by Cobalt Kinetics. Big shout out to those guys, Aaron, and everyone that puts the time and effort into these. You guys might laugh at this dope card here, but we were shooting out to 400. I went 1 for 1, double tapping every steel, didn't waste any time with that. This is a little different than what I normally shoot. I normally shoot 18-inch or longer barrels. It is an 16-inch proof. It does have the RCB KM. I did not shoot a suppressor. That's usually not a good thing in a 3-gun match because the timers will have a hard time picking up your report, especially if you finish up on last shot. But what they did was they designed a quick attach mount for any of the dead air suppressors. I mean, it makes it nice, but it's also going to shift your point of your impact as well. All right, as far as eye and ear protection, you guys know I run the Gators now. Remember, X-ring in the coupon code at checkout. It's going to give you 15% off. But I always run good quality eye protection. I never run smoked. I have Spectres and I have some Magnums, but I always run clear, okay? It doesn't matter how bright it is outside. When it's my turn to shoot, the smokes come off, I run clear. I've always been that way, and I don't change. I'm not going to shoot with smoke lenses on. It's rare you'll ever see me do that. But I do run the auto ears, and I might have shown you guys these before, but these are probably the lightest weight and most unobtrusive hearing protection you can run. It does have a charger pack here, and they're tiny. These do run about $400 or so, but they do have mics in them so you can hear. They do not Bluetooth. If you're looking for something that Bluetooths for music, that's not going to be it. but in the Charger pack here, it gives you a status on each one, and I have yet to this day, since Memorial 3 gun of last year, to have charged as a base pack. That's how long it holds, and it still has 40% charge on it. So what I'm gonna do is let you guys see some of the footage from yesterday. Not a lot, because I don't like match footage, but it was a stage win where we had to actually shoot shotgun, spinner, and we had the option of shooting slug, and then we had to go rifle, strong hand, rifle, support hand, or support side, and then pistol, strong hand, pistol, support side. The fastest time of the day was 60.13, and that's what I got, so it was a stage win for me on that, and so I'll just leave you with this. Check it out. All right, guys, time to switch gears and get into 3-gun mode. I'm gonna try open division for the first time, so here we go. All right, guys, so we're about midway through the stage. Just had lunch. Things are going well with the shotgun. I haven't had any issues, knock on wood, somewhere over here, but it is fun. I've never shot open before, and I'm having a blast with it. As long as that shotgun runs, I'm going to go over some of the modifications I did to it to keep it running. We'll go over some of the equipment, and we've got Sam Long here. I'm on the squad with Brady and Luke. These guys are unbelievably fast, shoot for F1. If you've never seen them shoot, it's something to see. But we'll let you see some of the stages and go from there.
there. 60-13. Hey!
Beat Frank! Appreciate it. Well, I had a great time, learned a lot, and I like open. I think I'm going to stick with it. See how we did. If I can finish in the top 5, I'll be happy. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that match footage, and I always try to bring you any type of learning that I get throughout any of these matches or any of the shooting that I do, you know, not just as a content creator, but also from someone that's doing it and going out to these matches and try to do as best as I can do. As far as magazines, this is a touchy subject. I don't run mag pulls. I don't like mag pulls. I want a steel lip mag. So if I'm not running like, let's say HK, like Maritime mags, I'm usually gonna be running Lancer mags. I do run different colors, and the reason I run the colors is I'll have one set for 55s, one set for 69s, and then one set for 77s. And you might say, well, why do you need 3 different types of ammo? And that's a great question, but for paper or base stages or intermediate distance targets, 100, 200 yards, generous size, I'm gonna run a 55 grainer all day, and it's typically gonna be Defender ammunition, and it's usually remanufactured. I don't shoot new stuff of that because I don't need it to be perfect. I'm just punching paper. It's plenty accurate enough. But then in another color mag, I'll run 69s. 69s is really going to do my work if I need precise shots from about 200 out to about 400 or 500 yards. Anything beyond that, we have a match coming up called the Tar Heel Classic. It's going to be at Clinton House in mid-May. We've got targets out to 700 yards for a 3-gun. 40% of the 40 targets are going to be over 400 yards. So on something like that, I'll probably use the extra weight of the 77 grain. But also, if you have a spinner or encounter a spinner, you really want to shoot that spinner with the 77 grain. The 69 does a good job, but not like the 77s do. So this gives me a way to keep my ammunition separate, and I know what color mag I'm going for. So that's just what I do. Hopefully that helps you guys in maybe coordinating everything. You could always just use a colored pen or something like that, or a marker on your magazines, but I just prefer these. These are very difficult to seat. I will just go ahead and tell you that. Now, if there's one downside to the Lancers, that is if you have a full mag, just like any other mag, you have to seat it. And you see this, I am hitting it pretty dang hard and it won't seat. And that's with 30 rounds. Because the fitment is so tight, it's gonna be next to impossible to get this to seat. You can usually remove one round and get it to seat, and I know that's true of most magazines, but it's not going to be so easy with this. You'll actually bruise your palm trying to get that to seat unless you have an open bolt. So just be aware of that when you're starting to use Lancer mags, and always test your mags, because that's a good thing to know. And I don't want to just download, because I might need those 30 rounds. Another thing that I ran into with the Open Division is the length of the magazines for the pistols. Because this is the first time I've ever done it, this is like 140, 145 millimeter length. In Open Division, you can run 170. So that's like 28, 29 rounds of 9mm. I did not have that. There was one or two stages where I had to do a magazine change that I otherwise would not have had to have done. I also did not run a secondary optic on my rifle. A lot of guys will run an offset 45 red dot. So up close they're shooting, and then now they can come back to power here, and they can be set on, let's say, 3 or 4 for longer range engagements. And it's just that split second they don't have to worry about when you have that offset 45, because there's no limitations. Remember, you can shoot shooting bags, you can use tripods, so it really changes the game. It is truly the X Games of shooting when you get into Open Division. There's no faster division. So I hope you guys enjoyed that quick overview of Open Division and 3-gun and what you might expect. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll talk to you soon. Have a lot of big matches coming up and a lot of good content coming up. I do have a CZ Scorpion that just came in, one of the LE models. That's an SBR with you know, the suppressor and all that from CZ. So I'll get you guys a review on that, and I hope you guys have a great week. Big shout out to all my sponsors, everyone from Burris to Gators to Microtech Knives, Defender Ammunition, just a slew of everyone that's helped support the channel. Hopefully it'll take off and grow a little bit faster than it's been going, but I try to bring you guys realistic content, not fluff. It's not here for entertainment, it's for learning. So you guys have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.